Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, done deal. 2023, it's happening. But before that, Hector Luis Garcia has an opportunity to take on Tank Davis Saturday, January 7th in DC. The internet is telling you this fight is going to be competitive, possibly an upset. It's not going to be either one of those things. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. In this video, I will break down 3 or 4 reasons why this fight is what it will look like. Tune-up style, keep busy, and I'm just happy to see Davis back in the ring. Let's go. Like I said before, y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Please be so kind. Like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. Let's jump right into the content. Hector Luis Garcia, what do we know about him? Solid fighter, 31 years old, hailing from the Dominican. 16 victories, 10 by way of knockout. Notable victory over Chris Colbert for a title eliminator. And that's kind of where the momentum is built him towards. Tank Davis, we know what we know about Tank Davis. God tier power, star power, cash cow, 126, 130, 135, campaigned at 140, stopped Mario Barrios there, has a machine behind him. He is the guy right now. When he fights, the stars come out, the stadiums fill, the arenas pack out. It's Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't really need to elaborate any further from that perspective. I want to cover really 3, possibly 4 reasons why the internet is covering this fight wrong. Now, I want to say this. I'm unsure why we play this game when it comes to some of the best fighters that we have in the sport of boxing. Oh, so-and-so, I don't know, Mikey might get Errol. So-and-so might get so-and-so. There are guys in the sport of boxing today, if they're not fighting their true contemporaries at the height of their power, they're going to win these fights. Gervonta Tank Davis is not currently fighting one of these guys. To sit and pretend as if Hector Garcia is one of these guys, a contemporary to Gervonta Tank Davis, is foolhardy and silly and is an effort to get you to click on a dumbass video you probably shouldn't be watching anyway. But I want to get into the reasons right now in respect to a Hector Garcia. Number 1, experience. Like I mentioned before at the top, Hector Garcia, he has 16 total bouts, 10 bouts by way of knockout. That's a pretty good ratio, but you have to take into account who is he fighting. I only know one name. I know 2 names on the list, right? More notably, Chris Colbert. Flashy, came up looking good, doing his thing. Ended up getting stopped and upset. Not stopped, excuse me. Getting dropped and upset against a guy who wouldn't go away, stayed in his face, had really good counterpunching skills and ability, and just made it a hard fight for Chris Colbert. Outside of that name, who else do you know? Let's look at the numbers. You have a guy, Hector Garcia, 16 bouts, 10 knockouts. Look at Gervonta Tank Davis, 27 total bouts, 25 victories by way of knockout. Without even measuring the opponents, that experience is crucial. It's very rare where you see guys with limited experience who can step up against upper echelon guys like a Tank Davis who have a boatload of experience. I think we're going to start to see the exception with a guy like David Morrell Jr. Very limited in professional experience, but the way that he's fighting and how he continues to polish himself as he climbs the ladder, he might be the exception to this rule. I digress. I'm not going to start living in the world of boxing where experience means nothing. Tank Davis has 27 bouts, 25 knockouts versus Garcia, who has 16 bouts and 10 knockouts. We can stop right there, but I'll keep going. Even if you look at those numbers, you shade towards Garcia and you shade towards Davis and you shade towards him heavily. Now let's look, who have they been fighting? Notable victory for Garcia was the Chris Colbert fight. I'll stop right there. Let's look at the Gervonta Tank Davis side. You competed at a weight of 140 pounds. You beat a regular champion and Mario Barrios, right? Then you took on humongous giant-ass Rolando Rolly Romero in the biggest fight of his life, who came in shape and prepared and looked good in spots, stopped him, got him out of there in 6 rounds. The Isak Pitbull Cruz fight, short notice fight for both fighters. You go in there, break your hand up in the 6th round if you're Tank Davis, box your ass off to, in my opinion, a pretty easy to spot decision victory. I wouldn't mind seeing the fight again. But you see where this is going. There's no way you can convince me, like, oh, well, hey, this guy's coming up to 35 of a division he's never been in. He might give Tank some problems. When I go down a list of notable victories for Tank Davis, that these guys would just touch up a Hector Garcia. So we have to be realistic. That experience piece is a big damn deal. And I'm not going to discount it now because it's cute to do on the internet for likes. Gervonta Tank Davis's experience going to this bout against this opponent in particular, it carries the day if nothing else does. But we know there's more to the story. Moving right along. Power. That's a fucking duh. Let's just get into it. Gervonta Tank Davis has that guy touch power. How many guys in the sport of boxing today right now have one touch type power? Davis, Wilder, Beterbiev. That's really it. These are the guys that are punching people one time, catching you slipping one time early in the bout. Wilder style Helenius. In the 6th round, mid rounds, Davis, Rolly. 2nd round, if you think about Joe Smith Jr., Beterbiev, these are the kind of guys that can just kind of get you out of there whenever they want. They see the shot, they identify it, they catch you slipping, and they get you up out of there. Well, Chris Colbert, shout out to him. He's not fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. With a Hector Garcia, with his stoppages, which are later down the, earlier in his career, cumulative damage, guy gets dropped, gets up, gets beat on, gets stopped. Davis has been in with bigger punchers, more experienced guys, more dangerous guys. This is not a more dangerous opponent than Rolly Romero. It's not a more dangerous opponent than Mario Barrios, who's now campaigning at 147 pounds. It's not a more dangerous opponent than an Isak Pitbull Cruz, who's destroying people inside of 2, 3, and 4 rounds. Magdaleno, obviously you know about Gamboa, who he punched all up and socked him up and knocked him down 4 or 5 times or whatever the case may be, brutal fashion. So I have a hard time believing that a guy like Garcia can just come in and put that kind of damage on a dude who just went in there and fought a big ass Rolly Romero and win in that kind of manner, which only leaves the third reason, I guess I would say, why Tank Davis really is suited to win this fight, and that's boxing IQ. The most underrated facet of Tank Davis's game is his ability to think, make adjustments, and then apply those adjustments in real time. If you take a look at this clip right here at the Gervonta Tank Davis Rolly Romero fight, the setup shot that got Rolly out of there, Tank found that in the 2nd round. You're going to see the exact same shot right here, set up, thrown, landed, doesn't land as clean as you would like, but it catches Rolly pretty good, gets him to thinking. This is the same shot that gets him out in the 6th round. Rolly Romero set a pattern that Tank Davis was able to identify and then counteract against. This is what the epitome of a high boxing IQ is. The same thing with the Mario Barrios fight. And the same could be said for the Leo Santa Cruz fight. He had to make an adjustment there. Santa Cruz did a good job living on the outside, using volume, and really putting pressure from a multitude of angles against Gervonta Tank Davis. He had to say, I have to pressure myself, use a little bit of hand fighting, get to that lead uppercut, then detonate on this dude's face. That's exactly what he did. Take a look at the clip right here. It's viral at this point. He dispatches of a Leo Santa Cruz, which is a fighter that I left off that experience list before. The fighting IQ of Gervonta Tank Davis carries the day. I want to run some clips for you of a Hector Garcia. Hector Garcia is a fighter with good basic boxing skills and ability. He's good at a lot of things. He's great at nothing. He's not a blazer. He's not an overly powerful puncher. He does have good heavy hands, though. And he's mediocre defensively. You just take a combination of those three things and then put them in there with Gervonta Tank Davis. And I'm curious as to what you think might happen in this scenario. Now, what I'm saying is this. I am not mad at this fight. I'm not dogging this fight. I'm not saying, oh, Tank, you should have done something different. This is a good fight against a game opponent who Tank should dispatch of fairly easily. And when he does do it, it won't be because Hector Garcia is not good. It'll be because Tank Davis is really, truly great. So I'm not shitting on the fight, but I want to be realistic about what's going to happen moving forward going into this bout based on those three things. I'll get in a little bit more of who Hector Garcia is. Good durability. I question a little bit with 16 bouts against not the best guys in the world. I will say he's shown the ability to take a shot, come back from adversity, take a look right here, gets caught in the middle of an exchange, goes down, he goes to his butt, gets up, he goes on to win this fight. And that's what you want to see from the opposition, or really from anybody. A guy who's willing to go in there, take it, take some damage, get up and do his thing and get a victory. Like I said before, he has good boxing skills and abilities. He'll go to the body. His bread and butter, I'm going to show you right here. His bread and butter shot is, though, slight fade, counter left hand, bop, right off his backside. He's a southpaw fighter. It's a shot that he dropped Colbert with, and then he led it at an earlier bout. I forget my man's name is, but I'll throw it in here. It's just a perfect counter shot. He just takes a slight step back, you overcommit, counter left hand, puts you on your butt. That's his bread and butter, really. But he stays in front. His feet are in cement. He likes to stay planted so he can throw. But as I'm going to show you right here, he gets in trouble, gets dropped on an exchange early in this bout. This is not an opportunity that he's going to be able to give to Gervonta Tank Davis and then live to tell about it. But those are my 3-4 reasons as to why this fight is what it really is and not what the internet is telling you. Because they want you to believe it's upset alert. It's not upset alert for Tank Davis. He will get this done in impressive and exciting fashion. I will break down the Ryan Garcia fight. I'm excited about it. I've done a couple bootleg breakdowns or whatever, but I'll get into more detail about who and why I see winning the way that they win. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Please be so kind, like, subscribe, bell icon for notification. If you made it this far, you are definitely a real one. Stay tuned, and we out.